What's going on, Hokies fans? Welcome into this week's edition of everybody's favorite segment, Buy or Sell. We got to have a little bit of theme music going or something right there. We got the football crew, Nick Brown producing behind the scenes. I'm your host, Giovanni Heater. Will Stewart is in the fourth chair. Andy Bitter across the way, and of course, Chris Coleman to my right. Well, without further ado, let's go through the results from last week. Virginia Tech and Marshall in Lane Stadium. The Hokies won it 31-14. Our first line was the Hokies to cover at 20.5. Andy was correct by selling. Chris was correct by selling. David was correct by selling, and the fans got it right by selling. I bought it. I was wrong. Nick bought it. He was wrong. Will bought it. He was wrong. 2 and 2 or more touchdowns. We had buys from Andy and Chris. We had a buy from Nick. We had a buy from Will. They were all wrong. I sold it and got it right, and the fans sold it and got it right too and had 1 touchdown.
Maybe if they gave him the ball at the 2-yard line instead of trying to throw and they getting sacked and then you're kicking a 42-yard field goal.
Maybe.
I'm just saying it was right there. It should have happened,
but it didn't happen.
It should have happened.
King of saying, Andy.
I know.
If
I don't win this competition, I feel like the spirit of that was correct, even if the actual answer.
If I lose this by 1 at the end of the season, I'm blaming Bowen.
All right, absolutely. There we go. The Gosnell brothers, 100 or more yards through the air. Andy sold it. Chris sold it. Nick sold it. Will sold it. The fans sold it. They were all right. Me and David bought it. Didn't happen. Gosnell, Steven, that is. He had the long one, but Benji only had 14 yards on a couple of catches. So me and David were incorrect. Tech gets 3 or more sacks. Andy, Chris, David, myself, and Nick, we were all wrong because we bought it. Tech did not get 3 or more sacks, so Will and the fans were right by selling. And then Marshall, 125 yards or more on the ground. Andy bought it. He was correct. David bought it. He was correct. Nick bought it. He was right. Will bought it. The fans bought it. Chris and myself, we sold it, and we were
that
wrong.
Linebacker fit.
That was the one that I did not feel good with when I made. I'm like, I did not realize they were like pure air raid coming in, and I'm like, I felt bad about that pick, and then that guy ripped off the 69-yard run. I'm like, that's gonna hit. Downside for Virginia Tech, they gave up that long run. Plus side of that is that the buy hit.
It was a missed run fit by Caleb Woodson. You know, maybe if they'd actually practiced him at will linebacker the entire preseason and he was used to the position, then I would have gotten that one right.
All of Chris's gripes coming home in one podcast. This is great.
You guys don't understand. Now that money's on the table here, not real money, but figurative money, people are going to have some choice words and things are going to get a little bit more tense here. So how did things shake out in the standings? First, Will's got something for us, though.
Buy or sell is brought to you by the Robertson and Cox Real Estate team. Are you looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? They've got your back. Centrally located in Radford, Virginia, the RNC team is proudly and professionally serving the New River Valley, Roanoke, and Southwest Virginia. Visit rndcteam.com to learn more.
There we go.
Should we have a bet the mortgage feature on the one we feel most confident with? That could be something good.
That's a great idea.
Hey, mortgage bankers out there, you can sponsor that.
There we go. There we go. Well, the standings. Let's get the camera on. We don't have any fans in the house, so we'll get the camera on Andy Bitter because the fans are beating everybody. They've gotten 60% of their buy or sell votes correct. And I will attribute that to the largest sample size. When you got that many people getting into it, the law of averages. But Andy is in first place as far as our TSL staff goes.
I will humbly take this honor on their behalf. I'll give an acceptance speech like an absent person at the Oscars or something like that.
He is halfway perfect, and Andy is
the best kind of perfect. I mean, this is like those bad divisions in football where like somebody gets to the playoffs at 8-8 or 8-9 now or something like that. But
7-9.
You still get to host a playoff game if that's the case, and I will take that.
There you go. He's gotten 50% of his buy or sell picks correct. Chris sits in third place, second to only Andy and the fans. He's gotten 40% of his picks right so far this year. And then we have a 3-way tie for fourth. David, myself, and Will, we've all gotten 30% of our picks correct. It was a rough week for me last week because I was tied with Andy and Chris at the top. Now I have plummeted. And then Nick Brown at the bottom. What's going on, dude? You're born and raised in Blacksburg, Virginia.
He's trying to set the lines. He's not trying to hit the lines on this thing.
He doesn't set the lines.
Oh, I thought you did.
Oh yeah, that's he sets them. He sets them. We have a group chat. Me, him, and then one of our other writers, Raza Umarani, sets the lines. And Nick, we need some better performances out of you. Without further ado, let's get into this week's picks. Virginia Tech and Old Dominion set 6 p.m. kickoff at SB Ballard Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia. 6 p.m. ESPN Plus. If you're going out there, have a safe trip. And the first line: first Tech drive is 40 or more yards offensively. Andy, what you got?
I sold this one just on recent performance. Would suggest to you that they're not going to be that great on the first drive. Sometimes there might not even be the opportunity if they get a big kick return to go 40 yards on this thing. So the way they've started the last couple of weeks, I do not like them coming out and just all cylinders right away. So I sold this one.
Chris?
I sold it too for the exact same reasoning. I'll have to see it.
Will?
I bought it. I guess I want to be different.
There we go. Nick also bought it. The fans have sold this one. David has sold this one, and I am selling this one. No need to echo Andy and Chris. Same reasons, and we move on.
Now the fans have sold it by 72%, so the fans are really selling it.
I mean, slow starts. Slow starts does not give us a key into 40 or more yards on the first drive. Drones, 65% or more on his completion percentage. We'll start with Chris.
I sold it. Now, he is at 66.7% for the year, but, I just think when I look at what ODU has done, like holding the South Carolina quarterback to 10 of 23, and they're going to be heavy zone, I think. I don't think he'll get that mark this week.
Yeah, I'm with it on selling this one. He's been 66.7% in each of the first 2 weeks. Like, exactly. And that's barely over that number. Like, is he going to be just right there to be as sharp? I think even a slight regression on that puts him under. So I'll take the sell on this.
What you got, Will?
I'm selling it because he's historically not that high percentage of a passer, and I'm committed to the idea that they're going to start opening up the passing game a little bit, not dump it off so much short and try to go deep, and that'll lower his completion percentage.
The fans have sold this one. Nick and I are feeling weirdly optimistic. We both bought it after hearing your guys' reasoning, and honestly, after doing a deeper dive. I think I sent Nick my text on the picks 2 or 3 days ago. Then I deep dived the prep, and I'm like, well, they're probably not going to get there, but who knows? Weird things happen. That's the fun of buy or sell. So me and Nick both bought that one. I guess if I had to give a reasoning, I think they're going to run the ball a lot, succeed running the ball, not going to throw it a ton, and when they do throw it a ton, it's going to be shorter completions, higher efficiency, maybe one long ball to blow the game open. Who knows? A Tech wide receiver has 5 or more receptions. We'll start with Will.
Selling that. Has that happened this year? Now, you specifically said wide receiver, not just anybody.
I think Tootin got there. I mean, he's got 10 catches in 2 games, so he has to have gotten there.
There we go.
Yeah. So it just made sense to me to sell it.
What you got, Chris?
Sell. In a game where I think Virginia Tech should be run heavy, I think I'm going sell.
Andy, what you got?
I am buying this one, and I'll even narrow it down. I think Ali Jennings is going to be the one who has 5 catches. Sure. I think he is going to want to put on a show against his former team. I think after last week, 0 catches. Did he have any targets? Did they throw it in his direction?
He had 2 targets.
Okay, no receptions in that game for a guy that is, supposed to be their number 1 receiver. I think if you're a number 1 receiver, you go throw me the damn ball. I think there's going to be an emphasis to try to do that. I think he's going to want to do that against his former team. I think him specifically, I'll take it if somebody else gets there. If Jalen Lane catches 5 screen passes, shoot, give me the bye, give me the win with that too. But I think it'll be Ali Jennings. Last year against his former team, 5 catches, 72 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think he was motivated to put on a show, and I think he's going to do it on Saturday.
Does the 2-week champ stay on top by being different and picking against everybody else?
This is how you do it. You be a little different, and this is the targeted one here. So back me up here, Ali.
David went ahead and sold this thing. The fans have sold this thing. I sold it as well. Bashal Tutin's the only one to have more than 5. He's a tailback, doesn't fall into the category, and he's had 6. So
I think my 50% record on picks speaks for itself when I'm leading the pack here. So
you're only wrong half the time.
That's right.
There you go. Old Dominion, do they score 17 or more points? We'll start this one with Chris.
I sold it. They're 17 is a really good line. I think they only got 14 against East Carolina. They did manage 17 or 19 against South Carolina, but they certainly could. because it's just not that high a number of points, but I don't think they are.
Yeah, I sold this one. I am losing this game 30-13 to the Hokies, so I don't think they're going to get there. I think especially, if you're starting a quarterback possibly who's never played before, I think that's a pretty big issue.
How about you, Will?
Yeah, my prediction was 31-13, so I am selling that ODU will score 17 or more.
The fans have bought this one, interestingly enough. They think ODU will score 17 or more. Do you have the percentage up there, Will?
56% so far about, and that's 1,800 votes, so it's going to stay there.
Yeah, a significant number of votes there. David also bought this one. He has the final score being, I want to say, 31-20.
20, right.
31-20 was his pick, so he's got him scoring 17 or more. I sold this one. My final score pick, I had Tech scoring higher than anybody else and scoring 13 points for ODU. 34-13 was my pick, so ODU under 17. Virginia Tech leads by 7 or more at halftime. We'll start this thing with Andy. What you got?
I bought this one. I think if you give me 7 on the number, if you had the hook to it and would have said 7.5, I might not have gone for that, just because I don't know if it's going to be a more than one score lead here. But I think they should handle ODU. And if my prediction 30-13 comes true, I got to feel pretty confident with them throughout the game. So I bought this one.
I bought it because I just think ODU is really going to struggle to score. So maybe it could be 7-0 at halftime, or 10-3, or something like that, or maybe more than that. I don't know. I just think ODU is going to score very little in this game, so it's going to give Virginia Tech a pretty good chance to meet that. So that's my only buy this week.
How about you, Will? That's crazy. Your only buy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm apparently feeling optimistic about the start of the game because I picked Tech for their first possession to be over 40 yards, which was an odd pick. And yes, I'm buying that Tech will lead by 7 or more at the half.
The fans have bought it. They think Tech leads by 7 or more at the halftime break. Nick has bought it. He thinks that Tech leads by 7 or more. And then I buy it as well. I think the Hokies kind of have, in a way, a get-right week. This is the first time this year you walk away as a Tech fan feeling like, okay, this is more on par of what we had expected, and they take care of business. And in doing so, it would be the first time you go into the locker room feeling good, not trailing. And then against Marshall, sputtery start. You did not have an offensive touchdown in the first half of action. In fact, not until midway through the third quarter did they put a touchdown on the board. So I think this is the first time you feel good heading into the locker room. And if it wasn't for Jalen Lane's punt return, who knows what that feeling at halftime was last week. Any other remarks before we let everyone go? Because Andy is winning on set and the fans are winning over everybody. They're 60% right. Andy's 50% right.
So you have to stream this one. Watch, we'll have a thunderstorm and my power will go out and I'll have no electricity and won't be able to stream it.
So what do you got to pay, $10 a month to get this game, right? ESPN Plus?
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
Or a free trial. What you got, Will?
Just a note that buy or sell and your ability to vote in it runs on the website every Wednesday. So if you want to be a part of buy or sell, go to the website on Wednesday, pull the article up, and cast your votes.
All right.
Or in future, it might run on Tuesdays if we're doing Wednesday previews.
Yeah, we're having to move things around because of game times and things like that.
Who's going out there? Chris, you're staying back. Andy's going out there. David's going out there. Will, you staying back?
Staying back.
Nick, are you staying back?
Yeah.
Nick's staying back. All right, well, Andy, safe travels. We'll see you out there. And everybody enjoy the ball game this weekend. As always, our content brought to you by our presenting sponsor, First Bank and Trust Company. And then one more time, our plug for
Robertson and Cox Real Estate.
Robertson and
Well,
Cox Real Estate.
are we doing the fun one? The buy or sell at the end?
Good call, Andy. Good call, Andy. Yeah, let's have you tee up the fun one here.
Something weird is going to happen in this game. I think everybody's going to buy because something weird always happens down there, whether it's, the first time the upset, Josh Jackson breaks his leg, Trayvon Hill gets kicked off the team. It was just an epic disaster of a trip down there. And then the last time, it's the coach is stuck in the elevator. It's the weird snap over the head with
giving
something
up
like that.
a touchdown on a field goal
The
attempt.
locker room getting burglarized afterwards. I mean, everything weird happened in that one. So I think something weird will happen. I don't know what's going to happen. Big military presence down there. Maybe something weird happens with a flyover or something like that. They have emergency landing with a helicopter in the middle of the field or something like that.
It could be. All right, so I have experience with this because I tried to go to the game in 2022, but the tunnel was so backed up that I decided to take a right and go back to the beach bar because I didn't know how long I'd be into that tunnel. It could have been, I could have been in that thing for like 2 hours.
That's weird.
So that's
Yeah, get on the right side of the tunnel down there. You do
Right.
not want to be on the wrong side of that.
exactly. No, this was like 4 hours before the game.
That's why
so
I left
thought
like 8 hours before the game last
Yeah.
time. Like, if I'm going to get stuck in traffic, it's going to be on the other side
So
of
it's
the
possible
tunnel.
that there's a huge traffic jam and a large number of Tech fans, if they're coming from the peninsula side, missed the game or at least the start of the game. That's certainly possible because that happened to me last time. Maybe something random like the team bus breaks down from the hotel to the stadium.
I know what it's going to be. I know that the toilet is going to overflow and break in the press box. That's going to be the weird thing that happens.
What's the press box meal? Maybe that'll give you some insight. What might happen later in that. Maybe they both wear white jerseys or something like that. It's like, there's a
what an
miscommunication
accident.
on this.
Yeah.
Like something
That'd
weird
be
will
a
happen in this.
catastrophic mistake.
Did Connor Blumik run somebody over a couple
He
of
did.
years
He put a
ago?
little extra
That was
shoulder
weird.
into it too. It's like, it wasn't even one of those where it's like I accidentally ran into him. It was like you really
you changed
intentionally
directions there, yeah.
hit this guy. And he apologized for it right after it. But
Sorry,
something
not
strange will
sorry.
happen on this thing. Yeah.
Well, with that, everybody enjoy the ball game. Hope you enjoyed buy or sell, and we'll get you your results, and we'll do another one next week. Rutgers next week, so that'll be fun. Well, maybe a couple of Sopranos references in Atlantic City, New Jersey. But until then, for Nick Brown, for Will Stewart, Andy Bitter, Chris Coleman, I'm Giovanni Heater. See you next week.